You can be chased for a council tax bill for up to 6 years under the Statute Barred Limitation Act, but I'd be surprised if it gets that far because council tax debt is what's known as a priority debt, and they're debts that have particularly serious consequences if they're not dealt with. Certain debts, especially anything under the HMRC umbrella, are enforceable by law. Council tax isn't a bill that you can get away without paying. If you miss a payment, the council will send you a reminder notice, giving you 7 days to pay. And if you fail to pay within that time, you'll be charged the whole year's council tax instead. You'll be sent a second reminder notice if you miss another council tax payment, and that's a maximum that you're allowed within a tax year. If you do miss another payment, you'll have to pay the rest of the council tax you owe that year. If you don't pay the remainder of the year's council tax within 7 days, the council may take legal action against you. Bailiffs, or to call them by the proper name, enforcement agents, may send you a letter to inform you that they'll be paying you a visit in a week. There are other forms of action that can be taken, like making deductions from your earnings or benefits. In very extreme circumstances, you could go to prison. Listen, it's very rare that you can go to prison for not paying your council tax. But that said, in 2016, there was a single mum in Wales who was given an 81-day jail sentence for failing to pay a council tax. She was in over £4,000 worth of council tax debt, and a court ordered her to pay £10 a week to start chipping away at the debt. She kept the payments up for a few months, and then when she defaulted, she was sentenced. Even though she made a last-minute payment of £100, bailiffs and 2 police officers took her from her home to prison. Over 305 people have been sent to prison in England and Wales for failing to pay the council tax, so please don't avoid paying. If your council tax has gone under the radar and it's over 6 years since you missed a payment or had any correspondence with the council, it would be seen as statute barred. But this doesn't mean that the debt's gone away or disappeared, but it means that they can't legally force you to pay by the methods that I mentioned earlier. It can still affect your credit file, so if you want a better score, you may want to pay it. If you found yourself in debt and you feel a bit overwhelmed, there are options available to you if you're financially struggling. I'll run through some of these with you now. Now, these solutions aren't all suitable for everyone, but you might find that 1 or 2 might work for you. I'll quickly go through them. So first up, we've got debt management plans, and they're an informal agreement that you make with the creditors to pay back your debts at a lower and more affordable rate. Normally, that means paying less each month, but over a longer time frame. Next, there's debt relief orders, and they freeze your debt payments for a full year. And then if your situation hasn't changed after 12 months and the debt's written off. You can't own anything with significant value like a house or have more than £2,000 in savings. Another option is offering a final settlement. So if you happen to have access to a large lump sum, you can offer that to the creditors. Even if it's not for the full amount you owe, they may be willing to accept it to save them time. Equally though, it may be refused. Individual voluntary arrangements are another way to deal with your debt. It's a formal agreement between you and your creditors to reduce your payments to one simple payment each month. It lasts for 5 years, and then at the end, any remaining debt's written off. Bankruptcy is probably the most famous option. You may already know, but with bankruptcy, all your assets are reviewed and some may be sold off to pay back your debt. After a year, any remaining debt will be written off. When debts mount up, it's overwhelming, but it's best not to ignore them or it'll just get worse. One simple step that you could take today is to find out if any of the debt solutions that I mentioned could work for you. In the description of this video, I've linked to a form on my new website. It's got a few multiple choice questions like, how much debt do you owe and how many people do you owe? At the end of the form, it'll connect you to a company that I've partnered with to provide you with all of the information that you need about debt solutions that are available to you. So click the link below, check it out, and let me know how you get on.